Well, good evening, everyone. I am so glad that you made it here tonight to Connect Group. At the heart, we believe that to get into each other's messes, to be in these conversations, it's the best way for us to grow our faith, to take these steps in this journey that we are all on. So, you taking the step, making the move to be here tonight is a big deal. So, thank you for making it out here tonight. My name is Dominic Insignius. I'm a leader here at The Heart. And before you go tonight, make sure you say thank you to your Connect Group leaders and hosts. It's because of their sacrifice, what they do, that we're able to do these things each and every week, and to help make a space for people to connect, for people to find community. Now, we are in the middle of a message series at The Heart called Yours. And if you haven't been, or you haven't listened to the podcast or anything like that, you can still be a part of the conversation tonight. Some of the questions we have are based around the message on Sunday. And what we've been doing is exploring this idea of how when you make something yours, it now becomes ours. Or when you take a step into community, what is ours now becomes yours because of a choice that you make to step into that. Now, this past week, what we looked at is what it looks like to give financially. And how when we give, when we choose to give, what we're doing is taking a step, investing in something, investing in trust, investing in faith, and it gives room for our faith to grow. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, I recommend checking out the podcast this week, and I think the YouTube video will be up by next week. So you might want to check that out if you get a chance. Now, as we jump into the questions today, I'm going to have the verses on the screen. We went over a verse from the book of John, and it's John chapter 6, verses 8 and 9. I'll have it up here, and you can read through that here in a little bit. But my first question for you tonight is, it's really more of a story I want you to tell, and I want you to think back through maybe when you were young or not too long ago or as you were growing up, whatever it was, is I want you to describe a time when you were generous with someone. When you were generous with your time, your skills, your finances, whatever it happens to be, whether at church or outside of church, whatever it is, when were you generous without expecting something in return? When were you generous to do something and you thought to yourself, I don't know if I'm going to get anything back, but that's okay. I want to be generous for the sake of it. So describe a time when something like that happened, and I want to know what that experience was like for you. So tell us about a time when you were generous without expecting anything in return, and what that experience was like for you. So let's take some time to talk through that together, and we'll come right back here in a second. All right, now for the second question tonight, on Sunday, we specifically talked about giving financially in church. And as we step into the rest of these questions, what I want you to be thinking about, and the question I have for you now is it difficult for you to talk about money and church together? I know for some of us, we have a difficult history or a rough history when it comes to money, or things that we've seen in the news, or things that have happened in churches that we visited in the past, whatever it happens to be. So I want to know from you, and it's a safe place. There are no right answers. There's no wrong answers here. We're all on a journey of faith. We're all figuring out faith one step at a time. So I want to know from you is it difficult for you to talk about money and church, to have these two things in the same conversation? And if it is, why do you feel like it's that way for you? And if it's not, why not? Why is it easy for you to talk about those things? So let's explore that together. And remember that we're all here to learn, that we're all here to grow. There's no right or wrong answers. We're all figuring this out. So let's join this conversation together. All right, now for the third question, if you haven't looked at the verses yet, go ahead and read those before we answer this question. Again, it's in the book of John, and I'll have it up on the screen. We talked a little bit about this story, and if you read a little bit here past just the verses we have, you'll see that it's a story of where Jesus miraculously feeds thousands of people. And the disciples, they're worried about it. They say, Jesus, we don't have enough money to feed all these people. We wouldn't be able to do that. And there's a young person who comes up and offers what they have. I don't have enough for everybody, but here's what I have to offer. And then Jesus takes that, he multiplies the food, and everybody eats, and it's a miracle. But I want to back off that side of the miracle just for a second and shift our focus to this young person who says, I don't know if I have enough for everybody, but I want what is mine to become ours. Something special happens in our faith. We take a huge step in our growth of faith, our growth in our connection with God, our growth in our community when we said, this is mine and I want it to be ours. When you can say something is yours, but then you want it to become ours. So my question for you in this is, does your view change? Does the way your faith takes shape, the way your faith takes shape, does it change if we take the shift of, or if we shift the focus of this story off the miracle of the food being multiplied and onto this young person who says, I have what's mine, but I want to make it ours. So I want to know if your view of this story shifts at all. And it doesn't have to, but I want us to explore this a little bit. And as we take a look at scripture in different ways, it's great to be able to talk through that together and how we all perceive it. It helps us all grow. So let's take a few minutes to talk through that together and see what you guys think. All right, now for this week, we always like to have a challenge, right? It's not just about learning, it's about taking what we learn and applying it into our life, applying it so we can take steps in this journey of faith together. So as we talk about giving financially in church, giving to something where you don't receive anything back, the question I have for you is, what is something you will do this week to take a next step, to shape your view on what it means to give financially in church? If you don't currently give, what does it look like for you to take that next step? To be able to talk about money in a way that isn't difficult. If you are currently giving at church, what does the next move look like for you in terms of giving? Maybe for you it's starting to give consistently. Maybe for you it's increasing your giving. It's not about what I think your next move should be. It's all about our steps that we're taking on our journey of faith. So I want you to be able to explore this and to feel safe to be able to explore that here in this room tonight. So let's take some time and think through that. What is yours? What is something you're going to do this week? We had a challenge on Sunday, a 90-day giving challenge, where you can choose whatever amount you want, give consistently for 90 days, and watch how that shapes your faith. So maybe for you that is a next step. So the question is, to put simply, I'll go back to it, is what will you do this week to shape the way you look at financial giving? If you don't give, what is the next move for you in maybe taking a step towards that if you choose to? And if you're already giving, what is the next move for you? Maybe for you it's giving consistently, whatever it happens to be. So let's take some time to talk through that and see what you guys think. And this is the last question for tonight, so I'll leave you with this here. We're going to continue our message series, Yours, this week, where we talk about the value of community and what can happen if we choose to make it ours. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you this Sunday at 9:30, 11. Okay, I love you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.